Celestial Astrology, unlocking the secrets of the celestial heavens and learning how we can weave its mythical gems and star-studded guidance so we can have the most epic life ever. Ready to take the cosmic plunge with me? Okay, beloveds, ready, set, go. Hello. I'm here today to share with you the astrology transits of this full moon of Aries. And so, with this energy of the full moon in Aries, along with the fact that we just had our Mercury go direct, although it is still in shadow period, and we also recently had Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto all going direct. And there is this momentum of energy that is available to us from the universe, from the stars. And interestingly enough, with the energies of Saturn and Pluto going direct, there's a lot of this catharsis of energy of the buildup of this last 2 years, and this energy of what we've been going through collectively. And so, with that energy, there is more energy available to us. But what we have to keep in note is that as these planets go direct, they're still in that shadow phase, especially when we look at Mercury going direct because it was going through Libra. And Libra is the sign of relationships. It is about equality and justice. And also, that time of Mercury and retrograde in Libra was really having us navigate the inequalities and imbalances in our relationships. But it really stems down to a balance of power. And so, we look in our systems today, in society, we can see that there is inequalities and imbalances of power. And so, not only was this showing up in our personal relationships in our life, but also on a collective level to look at the imbalances of power and how we can create harmony and how we can actually come together to work together towards common causes to be able to progress our collective towards a bright future for us all. Interestingly enough, it leading into this full moon in Aries is this energy of buildup of just realizing how much anger and how much frustration that there has been here. And realizing with this full moon in Aries, there might be this energy of emotional outbursts or fights or kind of discharges of energies. But what that is really is doing is bringing into the light of the full moon this energy of the fact that the full moon is enlightening us to be able to see the places where there are anger, the places where we have been not in power. Because Aries, it has energy of anger, but it also has the energy of power. The energy of being able to be a ram and just go for it and achieve whatever we want. And so, that can be in a way that's too aggressive, but it also can be in a way that's not aggressive enough to be able to achieve our dreams or be able to take initiative. And so it can kind of go out of balance and go into different kinds of shadows depending on how it is and affecting our personal lives and where we are on our journeys, as well as the collective. So, we can actually look at this and say this Libra Mercury retrograde was kind of helping us to start kind of waking up and realizing these imbalances, these inequalities, and realizing that we're craving justice, that we're craving liberation, that we're craving the harmony. And so we kind of have this energy pull between like the harmony that we're desiring and then this energy of the Aries, which interestingly enough, that's like more of a personal me, like identifying with myself. Aries is the first, represents the first house, which is like our identity, and Libra is about partnership. So we have this polarity of the aspect of partnership, and also, really honing into our own identity and seeing where we can bring them together to work together. But the only way that we can really truly create harmonious partnerships or harmonious shifts in our collective for justice and equality is by starting with ourselves. Because if we align within ourselves, then we can come together and we can be able to make really beautiful changes in life. And so with this, I really felt into what was calling forth most for the collective because there's so much that goes on with a lot of the planets and how they're all, various conjunctions and squares and everything like that. But what I really felt today, in this week too, is to share what felt most relevant to share that would support the collective right now. we have the opportunity to be able to harness our anger in a way that empowers us. And this has been a lot of the energy that I've worked with over many years, teaching classes publicly, as well as with my clients and my personal students that I've worked with one-on-one, especially in this community in the last year, being able to help clients to really look at how to transform our anger and the internal experience that we have in regards to what's been going on our planet, in our communities, in our world, especially with everything with COVID, really shedding to light the imbalance of powers in our world. And no matter where we are in the spectrum, it always comes back to the inner work that we need to do within ourselves. Because the more that we do that inner work within ourselves, the more that we can actually show up and serve. And so, what I invite you today is to utilize this energy, not just for this full moon, but for this shadow period of the Mercury retrograde, because it's gone direct. I invite you to use the opportunity of Mercury going direct this week with the energy of this full moon in Aries as an opportunity for you to get really real on where there are imbalances of power that you are experiencing within yourselves in regards to the collective, and what you can do within yourself to shift that into a place of power, a place of passion where you can be able to make a difference in the world. Because in truth, when we are able to channel the anger as sacred anger and be able to shift that, alchemize that, and realize that it's actually us being called to be able to take action, and we can learn how to do that in a really empowered way, we can actually take sacred action and have sacred purpose and sacred passion carry us, so that anger turning into passion to want to make a difference on the planet. And so I feel that that's very much where the anger can get caught up in us, is when we are not doing something about anything. And anger is an amazing gift because it can help us to realize when things are imbalanced, within our relationships in our world. And so, the archetype that we can call on here is the archetype of the warrior. And so with the warrior, it's very important to be mindful because with Aries, there can be such an amount of anger that it ends up becoming a destructive anger. And so that relates back to the warrior, is that there is more of a devolved version of the warrior, and then there's an evolved version of the warrior. And so if we're not careful and we haven't done our own personal work, then that can create more chaos within our lives, because coming at it from this hard kind of warrior energy, like we've kind of seen from movies, and the way that it's done even in movies where there is people that are fighting for freedom. A lot of it's about kind of burning down the system and things like that. But of course, that's not really realistic and actual progressive way to be able to actually make real change. Because the thing is then that just creates more fuel for there to be war and to be division. And so we have to look at that and see, how can we utilize the warrior in healthy ways within ourselves and our lives, so that we can actually truly make change within our personal lives and within the collective. So that's where I really feel that this energy of the full moon in Aries is calling us to, as well as the fact that soon we will be going into the eclipse season, and we are actually changing from the Sagittarius Gemini, those nodes there, and we're actually shifting over into Taurus and Scorpio, which means there's going to be a lot more work in regards to kind of composting those shadows and anger, and and just kind of all of the darkness of this last year with Scorpio, kind of going into the underworld and kind of releasing that, but also being really mindful to not continue to pull into that, because usually with the way that it works with the North Node and South Node, is that the South Node is what we're releasing, but what we can get stuck into, and the North Node is where we're calling towards. And so with it being Taurus, North Node, that means that we're going to be moving towards about, how do we create really healthy kind of, like A, B, C, D changes in our world. Kind of creating changes in the structures, in the systems. Being able to focus more on the earth and the planet and humanity, and really just releasing and letting go of that energy of getting swept into the darkness and the fear and all the energy of the Scorpio that can kind of be in a devolved position, so we can utilize Scorpio to help us to dismantle these programmings and these fears and the trauma and all those kinds of just things that are within ourselves to kind of release that. But we need to remember to go back into Taurus, which is the nourishment and focusing on, really looking at how to create real change, being in our bodies, and really, focusing more on, our planet and how we can create beautiful new systems that will help support a beautiful future for humanity. And so, with all that, I'm just excited to be able to be here and really connect to my passion, channel through the transformation of my own sacred anger in regards to the collective and what's happened this last year. And I'm grateful that I've been able to kind of take a sacred pause from the world and focus more on my local community and working with clients personally, privately, out of the regular domain. But I'm excited to be able to step up and serve in my own sacred passion. That's that energy of my warrior that's here to empower others that are also ready to step into a place of being a warrior themselves as well. Because when we are able to do that, my whole thing is all about sacred earth guardians. And with that, it's like, there's the energy of being a protector of the planet, but it's learning how to be, I realize, learning how to be a really healthy, empowered warrior, and learning how to not be afraid of what's going on in the world, but learn how to face those fears and no longer allow those fears to control us or diminish our light or to keep us small. And also at the same time, too, be able to learn how to channel, our angers and our divine dissatisfactions about what's going on in the world in a really healthy way to channel that energy. So instead of it, kind of reinforcing chaos we may feel within ourselves or chaos within the collective, that we can actually utilize that and drive that towards that effective change, which would be, coming up with the energy of the eclipses, with Taurus being the North Node, and really looking at how we can create really long-lasting, changes with like a really nice, beautiful, long-term plan. And so, with us being able to be in that power of being a warrior, a sacred earth warrior, we'll be able to contribute more to the collective in a more healthy and productive way, and we will feel better within our own selves and our own bodies and our own health, which is super vital if we're going to show up for the collective and be able to make real change in the world. So I'm excited to be able to share that with all of you, and I will be sharing that in person circles, but also online as well. And I'm always excited to be able to work with people one-on-one, virtually or in person here in Connecticut. But I have a lot of people that I work with virtually, so that's always a great way for people to be able to work with me. And offering shamanic healing and journey work, as well as empowerment and chakra healing and breath work. So if anybody's interested in that, definitely connect with me here and reach out with me, and we can book a session together. And I'd love to be able to help you to really connect and hone into this energy of this empowered warrior, And the final thing is, this Aries full moon, it gets back to us, So, if there's things here where you have experiences like many that have felt like, we haven't been in maybe perhaps fully your purpose or your identity of like who you are and like why you're here, just realize that a lot of what we get activated about in the world is because it's actually calling us to be able to action, to be able to make change. And so might be certain places in your life where you realize if you're feeling that divine anger, that sacred anger, that it's actually calling you so that you can make change in the collective. And so that's a fantastic thing. And just utilize this opportunity to release, anything left over from this Mercury retrograde in regards to, this Aries full moon, because the Aries goes back to our identity, who we are. And so the more that we shed away these programmings, these limitations, these fears, and we shed it off like a snake shedding its skin, then we're able to actually be able to hone more back into our power. And so really this is an opportunity for us to really learn to no longer be afraid of our power and be able to conduct the way that we show up in our power as beautiful sacred warriors of love, so that we can really truly make a difference on this planet. So thank you so much for listening today, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon, and all the amazing classes that we're going to have, and sessions for booking that people want to book with me, and just yeah. So I hope that you all have a beautiful day, and I look forward to sharing more videos with you all.
Thanks for checking out my video. If you want to learn more from me, I have a lot of classes on Udemy. You can find the links to a lot of those in the description. You can also find me on Facebook at Magickology YT. You can email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com, and you can even check out my Instagram, which is Magickology. And good hunting.